Taking, just be. Don't take it. Taking, just don't be. And live my life. Don't take it personal. I ain't lying. I ain't hiding. I've been grinding, multiplying. I've been trying to get my weight up, staying prayed up, meditating and taking time away. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. Hey. Taking just don't be and live my life. Don't take it personal. We just building. It's my season. Lay foundation. Make a name for generations. Please and make a then take a break or a little vacation and chasing blues away. Hey, hey. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning or look like you always be working, soaking the moments you live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me, faking your life for the IG. If you got my number, don't add me, cause baby, I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. I'm on hiatus. Baby, don't check for me. Taking time out to be and live my life off screen. Taking time out to be and live my life. I'm in a place serene and pure and free. Hey, I ain't worried about what's the wave, only worry.
Lights off, transparency on. Late night marriage with the riches. Late night marriage with the riches. You need that real talk, this is what you want. Lights off, transparency on. Let's go.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Late Night Marriage with the Riches. I am Damon Rich.
I am Tamika Rich.
And over here, it is lights off, transparencies on. Matter of fact, we're going to be so transparent. We just had our intense moment of fellowship right before we got on the air here with you tonight, dear people. Move that microphone over a little.
I
Pull
think
the
they
thing
can hear.
closer, because you're going to turn your head. There you go. All
You
right.
good?
Got to get that mic right. Yeah, we had our little slight intense moment of fellowship
We did.
before we got on the show tonight. We were doing some coaching, some talking. Anybody else out there in husband land who wife don't really listen to them until after 25 other people done told them or something?
Damio.
What?
Was that the case?
I
I told you I was listening.
You right. You
it.
heard me. You
Heard
heard
it all
it.
before.
You heard it all before. You right. Oh, hold on. I done hit the wrong button. I sure have hit the wrong button.
But
Let's
we were a
go.
little dark.
Let's go. I don't know. I can't get this thing to do right. Let's go here. All right. We're gonna have to be a little dark. I got to get some more lighting in here. Anyway,
Oh, you had it up just a minute ago.
yeah, it's too bright.
Oh,
It's too bright. So we'll work it out. We're gonna get better. See, this is that perfection process that you go through. Over time, it get better.
But if we go ahead and flick that light,
But you see, I don't expect somebody who don't deal with lighting and video to understand what the challenge
right?
is right
See,
now.
we about to have another moment of
Another moment
fellowship.
of fellowship. There it is. There it
We
is.
won't let it get too intense.
We won't let it get too intense. So why does it seem like the doggone lighting is flickering or something? Anyway, let's get into the night. We want to talk about building something you can live in, building something you can live in. And we want to talk about building your relationship, building a relationship that you can live in, one
Mhm.
that you can thrive in.
Right.
Thriving in that relationship doesn't always mean it's going to be good times and happy times all the time. Thriving in that relationship simply means that you're going to have more times where you're making progress and success in the relationship
Mhm.
than just being in neutral or rolling backwards in the relationship.
Right.
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 And we want to talk a little bit about to how to get into that, how to thrive, how to grow.
Mhm.
But I'm going to take a moment. I'm going to take a moment to just say this for you real quick. If you have not signed up for the late night lounge community,
Yes.
you need to do that. You
Now.
need to go to community.latenightlounge.com. No, late night lounge on online, and you will find the community. It is community.latenightlounge online, and you'll come to the community. You need to hang out with us over there. We're gonna
We'll have
pop
to
in.
put it in the chat before the end of the night.
Yeah, we'll have to put it in chat before the end of the night because
That's a lot to remember.
that's a lot maybe to remember, or that's what people keep saying. So but yeah, we got a new community that we opened. We did our first live just this meetup on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be an area where you can really get up close and personal, get a lot of get your questions answered, get a lot of free
Right.
relationship game, and you might even be the recipient of getting some free laser focused coaching sessions just by being a part of the community. Is
Yep.
going to be something we're going to be doing. So make sure you do that.
Right. It takes a village. So
It
we're
takes a village.
building the village. in
Building the
community.
village in the community. Absolutely, 100%. So let's dig in tonight. I know it's late night. We're going to be in the fall. We're going to be bumping this up probably to about 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
8:30, 9 o'clock. To all you late nighters, we're going to bump this up a little bit because we want to go to bed a little early too, you know. So
That's
that-
what we say.
that's what we say. I'm going to bed earlier.
All right.
Some people in this house
I'm going to try.
don't know how to go to sleep. Some people. I can't say who they are. Her and her twin that look like my youngest son. They both struggle to go to sleep at night. However, me and my daughter, my sidekick, we don't struggle to go to sleep.
Oh,
We do not resist sleep.
Not at all.
We don't fight it. So, yeah, what we're going to be sharing with you tonight is in part comes from some teaching from Dr. John Gottman on relationship. If you've been watching the show for a while, you know that I've been talking about the journey of learning to become friends within the marriage and all those things. And in doing so, I'm just throwing myself into really learning. It's a process.
Mm-hmm.
It is a process, but I'm really throwing myself into learning and growing and maturing as a husband and just learning new skill sets in marriage, such as becoming friends with your spouse, all that good stuff.
All that wonderful
But
stuff.
across that, I'm learning so much more different things that are enhancing my own understanding after 25 years of marriage of some things, you know, but then you get kind of the drive behind them. And so we're sharing some of this. We are going to be sharing some news coming soon. We'll be announcing some workshops and some things that are coming soon where we're going to teach you a lot of this stuff all in a workshop, boot camp style. And we'll be having some information coming out about that. But tonight we want to talk about living in what you build or building something that you can live in. And I think about the story of Noah,
Mm.
and they had to build the ark. And everything was riding on Noah building that ark right
Mhm.
for all of humanity. Because only 8 people went on that boat.
Mm. Yep.
And I want you to think about your relationship, whether you're dating, you're engaged, or you're married. There are people that have to live inside of what you build. And you're one of the people. Noah was one of the 8 people that had to live inside of what he built.
Right.
You're one of the people that have to live inside of the relationship that you build. If you have children, they also have to live into it. Your
Yep.
spouse or your significant other, they have to live inside of it. So we want to talk about this a little bit tonight
Mhm.
to just really kind of get out there, share some stuff with you so that you can know how to build a relationship that you can live inside of. So we're going to give you just a moment to tell a neighbor, tell a friend before we dive deeper into this. Let me make sure everything is showing up the way it need to in these feeds. Oh yeah, it tell me I'm live. Yep, I sure am. I am. Yep, so live. So let's get into this. Let's get into this. So we're gonna give you, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things of how to build this house. And Gottman calls it the sound relationship house. It's funny because when I was in therapy, my therapist shared some of the same principles with me.
Mm.
Whether he got it from Gottman or something, I don't know, but
Right.
I have actual notes of it. But we're going to share what it takes to build, give you a high level view of what it takes to build
Mhm.
a relationship that you can actually live in and thrive in.
Right. That
Okay.
starts with a true, good, sturdy foundation.
You're right.
So some foundational things.
We're going to talk about it. Well, we're building the whole house tonight.
Oh,
We're going to
okay.
build the whole house tonight. So let's jump into this. Let's jump into this. So here's the first thing that you've got to have in any relationship that you're going to build, whether it's your romantic relationship or even friendships, true friendships.
Right.
One of the first things you've got to have is trust.
For sure.
Trust is a wall within the house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Trust is is a wall within the house. You've got to have trust in the house. Now, this is not a 3-dimensional house. This is a 2-dimensional house. So there's one wall, there's 2 walls and 1 floor, foundation and a roof and some floors going through it.
Right.
Okay. But trust, you absolutely have to have trust within the relationship. And some of us are in relationships where that trust has been eaten up by life termites.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something has eaten holes into it. Something has started to deteriorate it because it was either not proper from the beginning,
Right.
or it has been exposed so it was not properly protected.
Mm.
So you have to have trust to build this house, this relationship that you can live in. What's your thoughts, babe, on trust right now?
I agree. Trust is one of those absolutes or things that you have to have. Don't even try to start a relationship or anything without trust.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And you
And don't like overlook it and
Mhm.
look past it with other things and feelings and all
Mhm.
of that.
Yeah.
Trust has to be there.
Yeah. And I like what you just said. Don't try to overlook it with feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Because we override our emotions and override our feelings with our emotions sometimes
Mm-hmm.
in order to get to what we want,
Right.
not thinking about if what we want is what we really need.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Going, I really like this person. I don't know if I can trust them, but I like how they make me feel this way or the things that they do
Right.
and stuff like that.
Right.
So you figure, oh, it'll come, or nobody's perfect. Some of the excuses that people kind of throw out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You got to have trust. You've got to have trust. If you are living in a relationship where there is zero trust, you've got to make some effort
Mhm.
to reestablish and rebuild that trust if it's possible. If it's not possible, that house is going to forever be shaky because the trust is not there.
Right.
Okay. So, one of the first things you've got to have is you've got to have trust to have a relationship that you can live in.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Number two, you got to have commitment. So, when it comes down to commitment, right, you've got to have, know that someone has, I'm going to say it this way, know that somebody has chosen you
Mm-hmm.
to be there for you, to be there with you,
Mm-hmm.
to walk through you, that their commitment to you is not this fickle thing,
Right.
right?
Right.
Know that you got to have commitment.
Right.
Some the old folks used to call it, you got to have some stick to itness,
Mm-hmm.
right? Does the person that you are in this relationship with have some stick to itness?
Right. I think the commitment part is the thing a lot of times people take lightly
Mm,
in the relationship and what it is and in the covenant, especially if it's marriage, um, and you're headed that way, is commitment. I
mm-hmm.
don't think you really understand what it involves, everything commitment involves, and what it
Right.
looks like. And so you'll go, oh, yeah, I'll be committed, or I'm committed to the process. But a lot of times you're not.
Right.
Yeah. So I think commitment a lot of times is taken more lightly than it should be, or
Yeah.
just taken lightly, period.
Yeah. And I think in the dating phase, one of the
Mhm.
things that people don't talk about, oh, come on, if you're single or you're dating, I want you to pay attention to this. You should have conversations about things and people that they've quit on,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
pay careful attention
Mm-hmm.
to why they quit.
Mm-hmm.
Pay careful attention to why they quit.
Right.
And the reason you want to pay careful attention to why they quit is if all the quitting was the result of the other person's actions
Mm-hmm.
and they own none of it,
Right.
you might want to be careful because this person doesn't necessarily value commitment.
Right. And not even just with the person, different things as you're getting to learn about them. Jobs. Do they change jobs like they change underwear? You
Uh,
know,
yeah.
every few months, and just different things in their
Without
life.
progress.
Right,
Yeah.
without progress, just because it's always someone else's fault,
Yes.
or somebody did me wrong, or they didn't do right. So
Yeah.
these are the things that you should be looking for,
Yes.
as far as like commitment. What are they committed to, and have they been committed to anything? And then how long have
Yeah.
they been committed to it?
What is their why in life?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What are they pursuing,
Right.
or are they driven? That's a whole nother conversation. But
Right.
what are they committed to?
Mhm.
What is their pursuit?
Right.
What are they pursuing? And why are they pursuing it? And when you hear their why, do you know enough about your why to know if your why connects with theirs?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
What commitment? I have to have trust. I have to have commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Let's talk about the third one. This one gets complex. You got to have friendship. Friendship is where you start to begin to build reciprocity
Mm-hmm.
in the relationship. You trust, I have commitment. Friendship is where we build up the bank of reciprocity,
Right.
right? Where is my friendship with them?
Mm-hmm.
Are they there for me like I'm there for them?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say that, when I
Right.
say, are they there for me like I'm there for them? That doesn't mean that they're there the exact way you are for them, but they are there for you. They have your back within
Right.
what they're capable of doing, just like you have their back in
Mhm.
what you're capable of doing. It may not always look the same, but they give the level of effort
Mm-hmm.
that they have available, and you know it is the level of effort that they have available.
Right, right. No, and I was just thinking or saying, making sure it's healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a good place, because a lot of times, um, or maybe not a lot of times, but sometimes it comes from a place of just, if you're my friend, you're gonna go along. To
Right.
be going along. If I'm doing something wrong, if it's
Right.
not right, but if you're my friend, you're gonna ride it out. You understand, um, and things
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Some of y'all are bad at picking regular friends. So
right. And not that you just bail out, but there are some things that should be done, I think, or could be done, before you just go deuces, I'm out.
yeah.
But not just sticking around to stick around because you go, oh, I'm your friend, but you're
Yeah.
not. You know, it's not the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that that's super important. It's really important that you not only have trust, you not only have commitment. So trust is one wall, commitment is another wall.
Mhm.
Friendship
Friendship.
is one of the first floors in the house. It's the
Good.
ground floor in the house. Do we have friendship?
Mhm.
Sometimes I think, and this is something learned, after 25 years of marriage, sometimes you got to go back. If you didn't establish friendship, you have to find a way to establish it. And if you had a friendship that went faulty within the relationship, I got to find a way of reestablishing it.
All right.
Some friendship is something that needs renewal,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, real friends, real friends are, there are people that I consider good friends that I might talk to once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no problem with that.
Right.
We talk once a year, and
Right.
that's our friendship.
Right.
But if they were to call me out the blue, like I really need something and it's something that I can do for them,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do it for them
Mm-hmm.
because that's still consider them a friend.
Mm-hmm.
There's also some things they can call me that I'm not going to do for them, even if I can do for them, because it might not be the best thing for them and I'm not going to participate in it. I'm still their
A
friend.
friend.
That same type of friendship has to exist in your marriage, in your relationship, because friendship doesn't mean I always say yes.
Right. Except for the talking once a year thing.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm
If you don't
teasing.
talking once a year in your marriage or your intimate relationship, you got a whole a
Right.
different problem.
Right. Wrong friendship.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Wrong friendship for sure. All right, we almost done. Y'all don't worry about it. We almost done. Here's something that's very, very important, and I know we overlooked it, and I think a lot of couples do. And it's probably the beginning of the end of most relationships, even more so than having a lack of friendship within it.
Mm-hmm.
How do y'all manage conflict?
Yep.
I've heard people say, oh, we've been married for 40, 50 years. My wife and I have never had an argument. I think they're saying that tongue in cheek. They got to be, because zero conflict in a relationship is not good.
It's not.
It's not healthy. I don't know if it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
But
somewhere along the line, you might just have a yes person.
Oh yeah, yeah. Which you need to be.
Right.
You need to be
and they
concerned
may not
about
really
that.
like you.
Yeah, they
Right.
might then. Dang, I signed up with the wrong person, and I'm in here now.
Right.
I'm in here now. I ain't gonna tell that joke by DL. That's funny, but it is a conflict management. How do they deal with conflict?
Mm-hmm.
Do they stonewall a lot? Do they shut down a lot? Are they incapable of hearing, listening? Are they incapable of are they capable of actually stepping back
Mm-hmm.
in hearing your heart and not just your words?
Right.
Are they willing to go to the mat to resolve the problem and not make you the problem?
Mm-hmm.
Conflict management. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So conflict management is super important.
It's very important. And I think a lot of times the biggest thing you hear in relationships, marriages, is the communication. And that kind of goes in there with the conflict management. So being open to, because you're going to have some communication issues, period. Being open to getting help or counsel in that area. So you go in with a better understanding of conflict management.
Yeah.
You know, that you go in a little better and go, oh yeah, this is something that I don't necessarily know or haven't learned how to do
Right.
at least effectively or right. And so being open to Yeah, I can use some help in the area of conflict management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn to manage conflict.
Hmm.
You have to do it
Cause
out in the real world.
right, because a lot of times I think people think they can manage conflict, and just how they do it is shutting it off or saying no, or like you say, stonewalling is what they call conflict management, and that is not conflict management.
At
Not
all.
proper, anyways. It's
At
not
all.
proper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that ain't even conflict management in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to have some conflict management. Um, that's one of the things I'm getting better at is not just shutting off. I process my thoughts, but even like tonight, I was like, I had a decision to make. Say, okay, honey, and just let it go, or
And
say,
you made the right
you know
decision.
what, we're gonna have this conversation. We're gonna have this conversation because you know what I would do with a friend. I would have a conversation. So we're gonna have this conversation. We're gonna have it right now.
Mhm.
So let's have it. Let's have the talk.
Right.
And you have the talk and you go through it. You might still miss each other on a couple of different passes, but eventually that conflict management wins.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's get this. Let's get this next one. Now, if y'all have been around us for any amount of time, you know this is huge. We've always
Hmm.
been teaching this when it comes to relationship. Purpose.
Purpose.
Better so, shared purpose.
Hmm.
Gottman uses the term shared meaning. I like shared purpose. What are we individually called to do that when we join together, I call it Voltron. We come together and we make something bigger, a super purpose, where
Right.
my individual purpose doesn't go away, her individual purpose doesn't go away, but our two purposes combine
Meet.
together to
Yep.
serve something greater than us. That's how I look at purpose. If you want my definition of purpose,
Hmm.
what is the thing I was placed in the earth to serve that is greater than me? That's my definition of purpose. So when we come together, shared purpose is what did God bring the two of us together
Right.
to serve that is greater than just our relationship?
Yep.
Shared purpose.
Yep.
You got to have shared purpose.
Have to,
Because here's the thing,
or you need to.
you need to.
Mhm.
When you don't have shared purpose, you have nothing for the relationship to aim for. Goals come and go. Here's the thing about purpose. I don't know that you ever fulfill purpose. You
Mm.
just level it up for the next person to continue it on.
Mm.
So there's going to be a couple that's inspired by y'all walking in your purpose that they're going to take what they can learn from you and then they're going to take it to the next day. It's an ongoing thing.
Right.
I look at it like this. Purpose, marriage was sent here to tend to a garden.
Hmm.
When the people who were in the marriage die, the garden still exists. Someone else has to continue taking care of it.
Right.
And because of that, that means that our purpose is never fulfilled because as long as the garden is alive, someone needs to tend to it.
Hmm.
So, what is our shared purpose together? What are the two things that come together so that we, as two being one, can serve something that is greater
Greater.
than us?
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
So we have to have that shared purpose.
Hmm. And sometimes people miss that
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And
because of the butterflies and and like you say, the butterflies and potpourri.
butterflies, potpourri, and unconsequential or inconsequential, whatever the word is, things. And there's something you were saying even before we got on air. You was talking about earlier about how couples and they were asking these questions that really have nothing to do. And I want you to address that on here because there are probably couples that are watching this and or dating couples or engaged couples that they're asking all the wrong questions. Like the questions that they think they want answers to right now
Mm-hmm.
before marriage are
Mhm.
not even the most important questions. Go
Right.
ahead.
No, I was just trying to say it's hard to. I was listening to something. I was in one of my classes or Zooms tonight, and we have so many singles out here, and they ask questions or the things that they are looking for or the answers, of course, are things that exist, but not necessarily the answer that they want. I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times. So you're asking things about, if I've been married 20 years, 30 years, is the sex still good? And, um, low hanging fruit type of
Yeah.
questions is what, and not that you know what questions to ask, I think is what it is. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
times that's why you're getting those questions. But if you truly listen to married couple and people, the stuff that kind of put you to sleep or you don't necessarily want to listen to because sometimes it's hard to digest or swallow, or it's not based on the fairy tale of
Mm-hmm.
marriage or the
Yes.
relationship that you have in your
Yes.
mind, you go, that doesn't pertain to me, or no, I don't want to hear that, or I don't want to listen to it, when they're really trying to give you the real one. And then some of the questions, it depends on who the couple, the couple the couple is,
Mm-hmm.
that's able to answer the question or be as vulnerable or transparent as you would like. Some
Right.
couples can do that. Some it's triggers for some couples, so they're not able to answer fully,
Mm-hmm.
or give you the entertainment or the excitement or the answer that you want, because they have to be careful or walk through it a little
Mm-hmm.
differently. If they're on in the middle of it, it's really hard. If they're on the other side and they've healed, of course it's a little easier. And then you go, oh, I don't want information or something that they experienced 10 years ago
Mm-hmm.
or 20 years ago or 15 years ago. And that's because at the time that it was going on, they couldn't necessarily talk about it or give it to you,
Right.
you know? And
Right.
so just using some wisdom in that area, and we'll talk about it more, sure, just about the things that you think you want answers to, or the questions are not necessarily the things that people are going to give you, or married people giving you, to make the relationship last. Because you're talking about 20, 30 years, it takes something to get there, and the things that you think it takes to get there aren't the things at all. It's the
Right.
tough things to talk about. It's the hard things. It's the things you probably don't want to hear about,
Right.
or want to hear about, but it's the truth and it's honest. And that's what people are really trying to give you, authentic answers. Now, people do have itching ears, and some of the stuff that you do see that's more entertainment or, kind of out there or
Right.
whatever.
Right.
Not that it didn't happen, but sometimes people embellish, and
Right.
sometimes you don't, but they're trying to say anything or something to get the view or the like or the
Yeah.
thing. And so you're really tuned in and interested. And then, at least for the moment, and then when more of the story or the truth comes out, or how they handle it or whatever, it's like, oh, that ain't in how I wanted it to at
Yeah.
all. So you
Yeah.
kind of like turn it off or go, that's not for me, you know.
Yeah.
So knowing what to ask a lot of times, and then being around some wisdom or married people that's really trying to give you good sound advice that's going to make the relationship and the marriage last, and not necessarily the things that you just want to hear, or that you've
Mm-hmm.
imagined or thought or expected what it would be like
Mm-hmm.
in your mind. And that goes a lot of times from still just what we take in, what we look at on TV, social media, and all of the things. Not to say that some parts of the relationship um, is like that or will
Mm-hmm.
be like that, but we're trying to give you more of what it really looks like and what it really is.
Right. Right.
So,
And I think that that's so important, because here's what I think people don't get. And as you were saying that, this is the analogy that popped in my head.
mm-hmm.
When you go into the doctor and they just tell you, like, hey, you need to lose weight, your blood pressure's a little high, but you don't have high blood pressure, whatever, this and this and that. You're like, oh yeah. And you kind of go on this fat diet and you do a little bit better for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they bring you in there and say, listen, if you don't change, you may as well just mark the clock. You're going to die soon. Right.
Right.
And all of a sudden you willing to eat cabbage soup, you willing to turn away all the ho-hos and wham-whams and zoom-zooms, and you ready to do all of that
Right.
because now someone has told you that you're dying, you're potentially on death, you get hit with cancer or something like that. You are willing to go the extra mile that you weren't going to go when you thought that you were going to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing is true when it comes to relationships. When you think your relationship is in a good place, it's going to live forever, you want edutainment.
Mm-hmm.
But when your relationship goes on life support,
Mhm.
you don't want all of the fluff. You
Mhm.
want to get down to what's the thing that's going to keep this thing alive.
Right. But here's the thing, you should be maintaining or doing things before it has to
Mm-hmm.
be put on life support. So listening to the little things like you say that comes where, oh, you should probably do this. There are signs along the way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you say, oh, you have a little blood pressure here or you have a little issue here or problem, you kind of just sweep it off or no, we're good right now or we'll be fine without
Yeah.
addressing it or dealing with it then. And
Yeah.
then, oh, when you look around, oh, this thing is on life support. So
Yeah.
now I want to hear all the information or what do you have to say, or you want to take it into the emergency room or the operating room and go, here,
Yes.
you got to do something with this now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to do
Instead
something
of
with this now.
maintenance and maintaining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it is so important that you feed your relationship, not with just vacations and date nights.
Mhm.
If you think that vacations and date nights are going to sustain your doggone marriage,
Mm.
when you go there, bless your heart.
Yep.
Bless your heart. You plan yourself. If you think that vacations and date nights are going to save your marriage, are those things important? Absolutely.
Mhm.
Are they critical? Not so much. Those are not going to be the things that are going to save your marriage.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's go here. So, I want to make sure trust is a wall, commitment is a wall, friendship is a floor,
Yep.
conflict management is a floor,
Mhm.
purpose is one side of the roof, dreams is the other side of the roof.
Mm.
So, if you're drawing this out, you put a stick one side, trust, stick the other side, commitment. Friendship is a floor. Notice I didn't say foundation. Friendship is a floor.
Right.
Conflict management is a floor. Purpose or shared purpose is one side of the roof. Dreams is the other side of the roof.
Mhm.
What does dreams represent? Some relationships die because you lose hope.
Yep.
Dreams represents hope. But dreams only represent hope when you can see the dreams as, yeah, it may seem like it's out of reach right now,
Mhm.
but with the right effort, the right shared purpose, the right connectivity, the right plan, we can
Right.
achieve some of those dreams. We may not hit them all, but we can achieve some of your relationships are dying because you have no hope.
Mhm.
You have no dreams.
And mainly marriages when you say that, because I have to remind people a lot of times that marriage is or supposed to be forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. So when you have these dreams don't have to come what is it in fruition, or it doesn't have to come to pass or come like right now or today. But you know, it may be 5 years down the road or 10 years. And I know sometimes we get a little anxious or we get married today and we want everything like in 2, 3 years, and the rest of the years we just ride it out into happily ever after.
Yeah.
And that's not how it happens. That's not what real life is about, period. Because lives and things happen. And so when you dream, it's okay to dream, and it is okay sometimes to set an expectation when you talk about them for
Mm-hmm.
things that you can accomplish or that will um that you can, I guess, like goals meet,
Mm-hmm.
but not all the time. So just remember, hey, sometimes some things take a little bit longer. Like
Yeah.
forever, ever, you have forever.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. And I say one of those warning signs that your marriage is going on, even if this never gets said out loud. But the words "I thought by now"
Mhm.
are dangerous
Mhm.
because you have planted in your mind that you thought by a certain time frame you would have these certain dreams accomplished. You gave no room, no calculation for life to happen. And so you thought you would be here and you said, I thought by now. The question I always have when people say, I thought by now, is based on whose plan?
Mhm.
Based on whose plan? And even if you don't believe in God, I just want to know whose plan.
Mhm.
Was it your plan, his plan, or was it a shared plan? It goes back to that shared purpose. Based on whose plan,
Right.
right? And it's great to think that, oh, I'm gonna be here and I'm gonna retire by this time and I'm gonna do this stuff, and you got all these dreams, but you didn't give room for that a pandemic. You didn't give room
Right.
for getting fired. You didn't give room for a foreclosure. You didn't give room for
Or
there's some
sickness or
or sickness.
illness or
Yeah.
anything.
You didn't give room for all of the other things that come with life.
Mhm.
But if you have zero dreams as a couple together, I'm not talking about just independent dreams and aspirations. You should get to know each other's independent dreams and aspirations, but you should also have not only shared purpose, but some shared dreams, because dreams represent hope.
Right.
And anything, I often tell this story. They talk about why do they give appeals to people, particularly people who are on death row,
Mhm.
but also people who are sentenced to life. Why they give appeals when it's a shut and closed case, even a case where they admitted to it and their plea bargain was life instead of death. So why do you give them appeals?
Mhm.
Why do you give these people appeals? And they were doing this, I think, is on the show Locked Up, and a warden said something. He said most of them never even use their appeals, but those appeals represent hope.
Mhm.
And if you take someone who is already on death row, if you take someone who is already serving life and you take away all their hope, they're already dangerous. They become that much more dangerous because they have zero hope. And some of them don't use their appeals,
Mhm.
even though they have them, because they know the chance of their appeal succeeding
Right.
is 0 to none,
Mhm.
right? They know this, but they hold on to that appeal because it represents hope for them.
Mhm.
And because if they were to go through them all, then I have zero hope left.
Right.
I just hold on to it. If your relationship has no more appeals, what am I talking about from appeals? If there is no more grace and space and opportunity for forgiveness in your relationship, there is no more hope, then that relationship, that marriage, that engagement is a dead man walking.
Right. And sometimes you think it is, but it's not, because you don't know, um, like you said, have hope. You don't know how to use the appeal. You don't necessarily know when to use the appeal, or just think it's not even worth it when it
Mm-hmm.
really is.
Yeah,
So, and I can testify to that because, I've been there.
yeah, yeah. You have to have hope,
Yeah.
and that's what dreams represents.
Mhm.
Let's get this last one, and we're finna get out of here. I know y'all was wondering where faith was gonna come into this. Faith is the foundation. Let me say this to you.
Mhm.
We're Christians, we're believers. So faith for us means faith in God, faith in Jesus Christ.
All right.
I've been asked a question different ways, at least 10 different times. What's the importance of God in my marriage? Where does God fit in? And for some people, it's like, God keeps the marriage together. That is a lie. God does not keep your marriage together. If that was the case,
Squid.
divorce would not exist, because then you would say God is too weak. He can't keep marriages together.
Mhm.
God does not keep your marriage together. However, your marriage, your relationship, your engagement needs something to submit to that is greater than itself. Now, this is different than when I say your marriage or your relationship needs something that it can serve that's
Serve.
greater than
Mhm.
itself, because of course you're serving God in the end, but it's you need a mission for your marriage. But when I say that your marriage needs something greater than itself, I mean you need something
Mhm.
that holds. I have a good friend, he says this. He says the reason divorce is so rampant is because there's no accountability.
Mhm.
Reason there's so many single parents out here is because the accountability is not there. It's unbalanced. So you need to be in a place
Right.
where you have marriage that you have something that all of this stands on that is greater than the relationship itself.
That's it.
You got to have a foundation.
Got to.
for all of this to stand on. If your thing isn't Jesus, your thing isn't God, hey, I ain't knocking you. That's your thing. That's your choice. You have that free will. If it's Muhammad, Buddha, whatever, that's your thing. But you got to have some type of a standard that is above you in order to, it creates the guardrails for your relationship.
Right.
What is the thing that your relationship, that you're going to agree that our relationship stands on? Because if it's just y'all, as we say in the South, once again, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Okay. It is so important, so important that you have something that is greater than y'all.
Yep.
For this trust to stand on, for this commitment to stand on, for this friendship to lay on, for this conflict management to lay on, for this purpose to lean on, for this dreams to lean on. You've got to have some type of a foundation.
Right. In order to hold it all.
Yeah.
For it to continue to stand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So listen. That's all we have for you tonight.
Oh, did we put the community in the chat?
I'll have to go in the comments. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see if I can get this done here, right here. Hopefully I don't mess nothing up.
Well, he's putting the information to join the late night lounge community in the chat. And if you have not, go ahead and sign up. Come to the village. Come to the community. It's going to be some good stuff. You don't want to miss it. We are building better people to build better families and communities overall, with our marriage and our relationships. So
yeah,
join the late night lounge.
Join the late night lounge. Hey, listen, we love you guys. We thank you for stopping by Late Night Marriage with the Riches. I keep getting asked, when are y'all doing something live again in person? We need to get that done. Y'all keep asking for it. We got to deliver. So, but until then, it's lights off, transparency on, and thank you for watching another episode of Late Night Marriage. We'll see you on the next one.
All right. We love you for real. Good night.
Good night.